Now on CoastTV News.
Curfew clash after Rehoboth Beach police say they are seeing a big increase in criminal activity committed by teens. We look at the restrictions now being considered by the city. Short-term on the shore houseboat vacation lodging gets a review today in Dewey Beach.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Elisa Weber and welcome to Coast TV News Midday. We are now taking a live look outside at Rehoboth Beach and we have a code red right now. First Alert meteorologist Bob Trahey is going to join us. Bob, we are expecting to get some severe weather in just a few moments. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Delmarva. Yes, we do have that potential for severe weather. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch now in effect for Sussex County and other places. Now, watch means conditions are favorable for severe weather. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be imminent, but we are preparing for that from Delmar to Georgetown, Selbyville, Fenwick Island, Dewey Beach as well. We have the potential for damaging winds later on and maybe some hail. Even for the eastern shore from Easton up to Centerville and Denton, severe thunderstorm watch until 5 p.m. Now, right now, it's just muggy and dry across Sussex County, but to our north and west for the eastern shore from Denton up to Chestertown, we're seeing some showers and maybe some rumbles of thunder too. These are not severe. What is stronger and more severe is this activity moving in through Pennsylvania, eastern PA right now. Tons of lightning, heavy rain, and there is even a severe thunderstorm warning right now, or there was around the Allentown area. But there it is right there. We are watching this warm front lifting through. There's also another area that is off to our south and west that is bubbling up some storms, and that could be moving in a little bit later on today. That's why we have the first alert in effect. 70s to around 80 degrees now across inland spots of Delmarva with a light southerly breeze. So as we go into the afternoon, be weather aware. Make sure you have the Coast TV weather app for that potential severe weather. With 80s this afternoon, we could be looking at those showers, packing a punch with heavy rain, maybe hail, then damaging winds too and vivid lightning, and still very warm into the evening. I think we still have that chance for storms as we go into the evening hours. So your threat level as we go into tonight, it's a low tornado threat, a high threat for heavy rain, and a moderate threat for wind damage and large hail. Much more on the severe potential in your weekend forecast as well, coming up a little bit later on.
All right, thank you so much, Bob. And happening today in Rehoboth Beach, city officials say there is an increase in teen criminal activity. At a mayor and commission meeting, officials will discuss implementing a curfew for minors. This comes as they say there has been a 110% increase in teen charges over the past 3 years. Some locals support the possibility, while others say there could be different solutions.
Protecting the elderly, because there's a lot of elderly people in Rehoboth. Mostly older people, and I don't think why should they have to worry about trouble?
I would want people to have the freedom to come to the beach and be here however long they want.
At a previous commissioners meeting, they mentioned that Rehoboth is one of the only beach towns in our area without a curfew right now, so people may naturally come there to exercise more freedom. The discussion takes place at 2 p.m. this afternoon. In short-term rentals on houseboats, it was a big topic last year in Ocean City, and today Dewey Beach officials are debating that. We did a check of Airbnb, and currently there are listings for these types of rentals. Town Manager Bill Zolper is to lead that discussion on houseboats at this afternoon's Town Council meeting. In Bethany Beach, town officials want to borrow money for a new water clarifier. Officials say they need almost $4 million for that project. There will be a special election for this referendum on May 24th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And officials will consider pedestrian improvements also at that Bethany meeting. You can see the area of focus on your screen right now. This is Kent Avenue and Garfield Extension near Route 26. It is not clear what kinds of improvements officials are looking at just yet, and that meeting will take place today at 2 p.m. Parking enforcement is returning in Salisbury starting now through June 1st. The city will issue warnings, not tickets, for violations in all city-owned lots, streets, and facilities. This grace period is meant to educate drivers about rules like permits, requirements, and time limits. But beginning June 2nd, full enforcement and citations will resume. People in the city and businesses are being asked to update permit and vehicle information by then. And today, President Trump is headed back to the United States after wrapping up a visit to the Middle East filled with big deals. While on his trip, the president pressed Iran on a nuclear deal and weighed in on talks underway to end Russia's war with Ukraine. While here at home, the ongoing battle over immigration reaches the country's highest court. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments over the president's plan to end birthright citizenship. NBC's Alice Barr shows us what could be next in both of these developing situations.
President Trump wrapping up his Middle East trip this morning with a visit to an interfaith complex housing a mosque, church, and synagogue in the United Arab Emirates. That after the UAE president announced plans to invest $1.4 trillion over 10 years in U.S. industry, including energy and AI.
We will work very hard to deserve it. I have absolutely no doubt that the relationship will only get bigger and better.
It caps a week of deals in 3 wealthy Gulf states alongside diplomacy, pushing Iran to negotiate to abandon its nuclear program.
Iran has sort of agreed to the terms. They're not going to make, I call it in a friendly way, nuclear dust.
While agreeing to lift sanctions on Syria and pressing its president to normalize relations with Israel, all while weighing in on talks underway to end Russia's war on Ukraine.
Nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together.
President Trump returns to the U.S. today as the Supreme Court begins considering his administration's case on birthright citizenship and the power of federal judges. In oral arguments Thursday, the court's conservative majority appeared open to the administration's argument that a single federal judge in one state should not have the authority to block an executive order nationwide, as has happened nearly 40 times this term, including on the president's effort to end automatic citizenship for children born in the U.S. whose parents are undocumented immigrants. On that critical point, the justices appeared skeptical given the Constitution's guarantee of birthright citizenship. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Coming up after the break, FEMA fears we'll tell you the agency's concerns ahead of the start of hurricane season. Preparing for flooding one photo at a time, the town of Milton and Flood Vision gave a presentation on how technology can be used to visualize flooding. Flood Vision uses a car with a camera to generate what a flooded Milton would look like and what impacts it would have. Coastal hazard specialist Danielle Swallow says resources like this helps bring awareness to the issue.
Seeing a representation of what that could look like, what the flooding could look like, how far it's going to go up a door front, whether it's going to cover, your commute route, really matters. And so people will be able to take away a lot more information through a photo.
According to Flood Vision's data, 6,600 homes could be at risk of flooding in Sussex County by 2050. And in related news, with the start of hurricane season coming up on June 1st, dark clouds are hovering over FEMA. A document obtained by CNN says the agency is struggling. They've had minimal coordination with states, and the organization says that will slow emergency responses. The Trump administration has repeatedly called FEMA ineffective and unnecessary. It has also lost about 30% of its full-time staff since the start of the administration.
It is a code red first alert weather day for the potential of severe weather this afternoon. Right now, still looking good in Laurel, just hazy sunshine and warm, kind of fuel for the fire, perhaps for this afternoon, with temperatures into the 80s. We are watching for that potential of severe weather as we go into this afternoon, this evening, and into the overnight as well. More on the impacts coming up. Congratulations to Barbara Hansen from Lewis. She has a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV. More on the threat for severe weather coming up after the break. It's been an unsettled week for Delmarva since Tuesday. Rounds of rain and storms as well. And today, no exception. You see the QR code right here. Make sure you hover your phone over that and download the Coast TV weather app. You may need it this afternoon for that potential of severe weather. That's why we have a code red. Right now, cloudy skies in Lewis on the Tunnel and Razor Cam 79, but we could be looking at storms developing as we go into the afternoon. Storm Prediction Center has issued a severe thunderstorm watch for Caroline, Kent, Sussex, and Talbot counties. This goes until 5 o'clock. This means conditions are favorable for severe weather from Seaford down to Delmar, Gumboro, Fenwick Island up to Dewey Beach and Milton as well. Salisbury is not in the watch, but even in Maryland and Point South, be vigilant for that potential of severe weather this afternoon into tonight. And a watch also for Caroline and Kent counties and Queen Anne's and Talbot, Denton, American Corner, and Skipton and other places. We are looking at the potential of severe severe weather. Right now we're quiet across much of Sussex County. We're seeing some showers moving in, and these have been weakening ever since they moved in from Maryland and Virginia. Denton seeing some run-of-the-mill showers now, Chestertown, Smyrna, up to Middletown. But then north of there, that's where we start getting into the heavier action. Some big storms about to bear down on Philly, up into the Allentown area. Vivid lightning, very heavy rain. These are marching towards the New York City area and New Jersey. And I think this cluster is missing us to the north, but we have another area off to our south and west that we are concerned about. Once again, there's that warning for Allentown, severe thunderstorm warning. And there's another cluster developing across the Tennessee Valley with warnings with it. And this is moving our way, and this one has a better chance of affecting us as we go into the evening hours. Very warm, moist air ahead of a cold front firing up these thunderstorm complexes. Temperatures in the 70s and low 80s now, even 84 in Seaford with 60s and 70s at the coast. Winds are light from the south now, so into this afternoon, keep an eye to the sky. If thunder roars, go indoors. Could see some storms breaking in around 2 p.m. This particular model, not too excited about widespread activity, but definitely that chance of seeing those storms through the evening hours. And then through the overnight, we still have a chance of seeing more storms in the middle of the night. And then as we go into Saturday morning, I think it's ending, and then we'll see a cold front coming through. It dries out, but it's hot into the afternoon with mid to upper 80s on your Saturday afternoon. And then a big cool down heading into Sunday. We're starting in the 60s, but the wind's picking up and temperatures only into the mid to upper 70s as we go through the afternoon. As far as that severe threat, it's a slight risk for today, meaning I think we're looking at the potential for damaging winds and some hail. Then late tonight into early Saturday, that threat for severe weather does continue. And right now we're thinking a low threat of a tornado, but not zero. And then heavy rain, the threat is high for that, with a moderate threat for wind damage and some large hail as well. And we could see maybe up to a half inch, 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch of rain if you get under one of those heavier storms. We've got the Preakness Stakes coming up in Pimlico, much drier than the Kentucky Derby. The track will be drier, mid to upper 80s, so make sure you stay hydrated, and it does look like it remains dry. 86 in Laurel, 85 in Georgetown and Millsboro today with the storms, mid 80s for the eastern shore, and then we're looking at mid to upper 80s from Crisfield up to Salisbury. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, heads up for the storms this afternoon, 85, 88 on Saturday, mainly morning storms, and then drying out, much cooler Sunday and Monday, and then even cooler into next week. Looks like another rain chance by Wednesday and Thursday.
Thank you, Bob. And we just heard Bob mention it. Saturday is the 150th running of Preakness Stakes. I know a number of people from our side of the Chesapeake Bay will make that trip to Baltimore and take part in all of the festivities. It will be the last Preakness at Pimlico track as we know it right now. It is scheduled to be at a different location in Maryland next year as they rebuild this historic yet aging facility. CoastTV's coverage of Saturday's Preakness begins at 4 p.m. And coming up tonight on DSN, it is the Henlopen Conference Softball Championship game. Then at 10:30, it's the final score. And on the DSN app, you will also get that softball game along with Sussex Central softball team traveling to Delaware Military Academy at 4. CoastTV will be right back. This just in, we are getting information about a bill that was introduced on Thursday in the Delaware House of Representatives dealing with microbrewery ownership. It gives the owners of these businesses some options. They can hold 3 licenses, 2 used for breweries and 2 for brew pubs. Currently, only 1 brewery license is allowed, and we are expecting to hear in the House Economic Development, Banking, Insurance, and Commerce Committee. And Salisbury University is inviting the public to share ideas as it maps out its next 5-year strategic plan. 2 community listening sessions are scheduled for June 9th and 10th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Purdue Hall's Bennett Family Auditorium. University leaders say public feedback will help shape priorities through 2030. Admission is free and all are welcome. And coming up, summer road safety. We'll tell you how Maryland is being proactive about safety summer as it approaches. As the weather warms up, more motorcyclists are hitting the roads on Delmarva. State and local leaders are coming together in Salisbury to highlight efforts to protect riders and drivers. MDOT reports that nearly 80% of fatal crashes involving motorcycles happen between May and October. Salisbury City Councilwoman April Jackson says she recently lost a friend in a motorcycle crash.
See with precaution, pay attention, don't drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs or anything. Just be cautious, stay focused and alert about what you're doing when you're doing it, because that drive or that ride depends upon you.
Officials say so far this year, 13 people on motorcycles have been killed on Maryland roads. One of those deaths was in Wicomico County. And if you are in need of a furry friend, now is the time to adopt, because right now the Brandywine Valley SPCA is holding a special from now until Sunday, May 18th. Any adult dog 30 pounds and up is for $25 adoption fee, and this will take place at any Brandywine Valley SPCA campus.
We do have a code red alert for the potential of severe weather this afternoon, but looking good right now in Ocean View, 70s with that storm threat this afternoon, maybe some large hail and damaging winds. That threat continues into early Saturday, and then things start to quiet down. Call the Coast TV First Alert Weather Phone, another way to get your forecast, sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico. I'll have your 10-day forecast coming up next. Keep an eye on the sky and have that Coast TV weather app for the potential of severe weather this afternoon. Seeing some light showers in Bridgeville right now. Those are not severe. The real heavy activities across eastern PA, about to move in New Jersey. And I'm watching this cluster across Kentucky. That could be sliding in this afternoon for that potential of severe weather. And with that storm potential this afternoon and this evening, we could see some damaging winds and large hail. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, 88 Saturday, drying out, and then even cooler Sunday and Monday. Cooler yet into next week. Looks like another chance of rain by Wednesday and Thursday. And right now, next weekend looks calm and pretty pleasant.
Hey, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. And don't forget to join us for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Have a great day.